Tonight, science guru Dr. Carl brings his fun and freaky facts to Port Pirie. And Australian pop singing sensation Isiah Firebrace wows the crowds in Port Lincoln.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening. There is twice the rate of poverty in regional SA, and it's something our state politicians want to fix. A parliamentary inquiry hopes to shine a light on the issue, visiting the Spencer Gulf this week to examine the extent of poverty on our region's most vulnerable.
It's a silent issue causing stress across SA. Over 30,000 people currently live under the poverty line, with regional households twice as likely to be under it. A state parliamentary inquiry is investigating the issue, channelling former PM Bob Hawke.
Promise that no child need live in poverty? Well, I'd like to hear politicians of all colours in the state parliament making that dream that he had a reality.
State politicians have been in the Spencer Gulf this week, gathering evidence on the hardships faced in country SA.
In Port Lincoln, Port Augusta and now Whyalla, and we've heard from more than a dozen individuals and groups in the Eyre Peninsula.
Health is also a key issue, with some harrowing stories coming to light, including one girl who broke her arm.
She was in Streaky Bay of a teenage girl that she couldn't get set properly because she couldn't afford to get to Adelaide to have that treatment. That's not good enough.
Whyalla Food Bank hosted the Pollies. Manager Sandy Wolford says demand is high, needing extra volunteers to cater for their growing client list.
In the last 3 years, it's probably grown by about 150,000 kilos of food.
Ashley Piles, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill Police are investigating why vandals targeted street signs on the outskirts of town. Over 20 signs have been damaged along multiple roads, leaving the local council to foot the bill.
Thousands of dollars of damage caused by vandals.
Yeah, it was quite disappointing to see.
The vandalism is believed to have occurred on Wednesday night. Over 20 street signs along Brookfield Avenue and Kaylin Street were left on the ground or bent out of shape, believed to have been caused by a four-wheel drive. Some of them displaying road rules, others helping tourists find nearby attractions. Roads and Maritime Services have already started repairing the speed limit signs. Tourist information signs will have to be fixed by City Council.
We'll get some guys out there. Unfortunately, it's about $5,000 worth of damage, which is not ideal for council or for the community.
Police are asking anyone in the area who may have seen or heard anything that night to come forward.
And it's a terrible thing that's occurred, and we're very much appealing for public information. Someone may have heard something, seen something, may have seen a vehicle. It may be a registration number, a description or a description of vehicle. Any information will assist our investigation. Council and coppers left simply asking why.
Bit of a pointless one. I'm not sure it's how I'd spend my spare time, but someone's obviously gone out there and done it, and we'll have to pay to fix it.
Patrick Roenke, Southern Cross News.
Well, Port Lincoln Police have found a stolen motorbike in nearby scrubland. However, there are still ongoing investigations into the theft. The orange and black KTM dirt bike was stolen from a Seaton Avenue property last weekend. In the early hours of this morning, police recovered the motorcycle near Gum Flat Track, just a few kilometres out of Port Lincoln. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. The Port Augusta RSL Club says they've felt the brunt of a new council rates policy, which has seen them fork out an extra $3,000. The fully volunteer-run club says they'll have to do more fundraising to make the money back.
Guns on the wall, motorbikes and bullets from the war. This is an authentic RSL club. But the local home for veterans has a new battle. Thousands of dollars in rates.
In a way, I sort of felt cheated.
In the past, the council has given the club an exemption from the bills, but a new policy for discretional rates meant any clubs with a liquor licence are forced to pay a minimum rate of just under $1,500.
It's still a drop in the bucket for the council, but for us it's a lot of money.
The RSL also had to pay the bills for the adjacent car park and claimed they don't have revenue-raising poker machines or get any funding from state bodies, so they'll have to do extra fundraising to make the money back.
If we're going to keep doing the work that we do, we have to raise the money to do it.
Though $1,500 was subsidised from the club's bill, and council says they aren't the only ones in the town who've had to dip into their own pockets this year.
There are a number of other clubs as well who have never paid rates, for example the golf club and the yacht club, who are now also on the same position as the RSL.
The council says it is willing to meet with the club to discuss their concerns. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Prominent South Australian poet Manal Younis has spent the week in Port Augusta advocating for reading and writing as part of her artist residency trip. The trip, with funding help from Writers SA, encourages artists into regional communities to draw inspiration for their new work.
I've learned a lot, particularly by sitting with First Nations people and kind of just hearing the stories there, and there's so much in those stories that relate to my own background.
Manal says the beautiful landscape of the region has been a big inspiration for her. Well, Port Pirie's local Vinnie's has experienced a surge in people requesting their services. The charity has teamed up with an unlikely partner, On the Run, for extra help.
Port Pirie's St Vincent de Paul has been inundated by people in need. Last year alone saw an increase in services by 22%. To help offset the demand, the charity has found support in an unlikely candidate, Port Pirie's On the Run.
OTR's launched a new community program called OTR Give, and it's working with a number of charities in the metropolitan and regional areas.
Customers visiting the local servo will now have an option to designate some of their fuel money towards a charity of their choice. On the Run has created an app so people can conveniently select a charity in need to donate money towards. Both Vinnie's and On the Run hope that the new program will top up their piggy bank just in time for Christmas.
In terms of how that hits the ground, it'll be about providing more food, more shelter and more clothing to people that are in need in the Port Pirie area.
If you or someone you know is in need of a free feed, Vinnie's van service offers a free dinner every Sunday. Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, all the thrills and spills from the Silver City show. And science guru Dr. Carl makes a very special visit to Port Pirie. Hello again. The old Far West Health Building in Broken Hill, known to many as Kincumber House, is being demolished. Demo crews are tearing the facility up as part of stage 2 of a redevelopment of the local health service. All admin staff have moved to the new health centre in the city's CBD. The area will remain vacant once the building is demolished. The big weekends continue in Broken Hill, with the Silver City show getting underway. In its 129th year, the event doesn't fail to draw a crowd, as Patrick Reinke discovered.
Roll up, it's showtime in Broken Hill.
It's going to be an excellent show, good weather.
And the Silver City show certainly won't disappoint. 3 new rides have come to town, but there are still the old classics like bumper cars and the Cha-Cha. If you're like me, you may prefer a relaxing ride on the Ferris wheel compared to the death-defying opposites. A walk down Sideshow Alley, you'll find the regulars, clowns, rubber ducks, everybody is a winner. And if you need a feed, you're not too far from Fairy Floss and a Dagwood dog. For those thinking about coming,
I tell them not to think to go, to come. Yeah, because they are missing out. If they don't come up and see this show this year, they're really missing out.
And what's a show without some show bags? There are dozens on sale this year with something for everyone. I've gone with the Caramella Koala show bag because it's a childhood favourite.
And while today's numbers were a little light, the Saturday always makes up for it. Don't forget to stay until nightfall though. It looks even more mesmerising, and the incredible fireworks always ends the event in style. And the weather is looking good.
Tomorrow I think it's about 20, dropping down to 17. So you can ask for a better weekend actually.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
The Port Lincoln Orchid Club has sprung into spring with its annual flower show spectacle, with all shapes, colours and sizes on display, but this year's champion has gone to a bright yellow number.
We're only a very small club, and what we have here has been put on by 7 members. So we're all quite pleased with each other because we have done exceptionally well to get this many plants into a show.
So for any flower enthusiasts, be sure to head down to the Kalanyala nursery before the show ends on Sunday. There's been an exciting new addition captured on camera thanks to a Port Lincoln household keeping a watchful eye on a rare pair of breeding birds. The large osprey birds welcomed 3 eggs to the nest in July, and after much anticipation, the first chick has finally hatched. It is hoped the baby bird will be joined in the nest by 2 siblings in the next couple of days. Aren't they cute? Dr. Carl, the face of all things science, has made a special appearance in Port Pirie. The prominent TV and radio personality delighted children at a local school with his fun and freaky facts.
The man who shares his name with an asteroid took some Port Pirie school kids on a quantum leap into the world of science.
The only message I really wanted to get out there was have a sense of curiosity and ask questions, because it's not the answer that gets you the Nobel Prize, it's the question.
Dr. Carl held a special Q&A with some of the town's youngest and brightest minds, and a few lucky students were able to have a one-on-one meet and greet after the show ended.
Cool, because I'm into science and math, and Dr. Carl's my idol, so it was really cool.
The response from the audience was basically they were asking questions all the time, and they just kept on building up in numbers until by the time we finished we had about 30 kids wanting to ask questions and no time because the evil teachers took them away.
Dr. Carl even had advice for fending off lead levels in the local children's blood.
If you get a diet high in iron and calcium and fruit and veg, that will protect you.
If you didn't get a chance to see the doctor, tickets are still available for his Great Moments in Science show. Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
Gotta love Dr. Carl. Meantime, Australian pop singing sensation Isiah Firebreaks has wowed the crowds in Port Lincoln. The X Factor winner also found some time on his tour for an inspiring workshop with a local school.
The winner is Isiah!
He's taken the world by storm following his X Factor win in 2016. Since then, the Indigenous teenager has gained global attention, performing in front of hundreds of millions of viewers at last year's Eurovision. And last night, Port Lincoln fans had the chance to hear some of his biggest hits.
It was so much fun. I loved dancing and things. It was so much fun.
I'm always excited to perform. The thing that I love about my job is actually coming to the town and meeting the people in the community.
In between his busy schedule, Isiah loves inspiring the next generation. And while in Port Lincoln, he caught up with some local school students.
Kind of just give them an inspiration and, you know, tell them a bit about my story and the things that I've had to face and overcome. And
it's really awesome just to see someone that you see on television, you hear about, actually at your school, and you can listen to their story.
Next on the calendar for Isiah is the highly anticipated release of his new single next month and a major Australian tour early next year.
I can't wait to get back on the road and promote the song, and yeah, it's going to be really fun.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break. It's grand final time in Whyalla footy, and in the weather.
It's going to be a bit of a wet weekend. I'll have all the local weather details up soon.
Welcome back. Well, it's grand final week in Whyalla with West taking on Waroona Bay in the decider. West is looking for its third title in a row, while the Bays are looking to complete a fairy tale season.
2 years ago, Waroona Bay were getting smashed by over 200 points each week, blooding youth. It's paid off, with the club playing in the grand final this weekend, after a comprehensive victory over North. Coach Craig Inglis says everyone is relishing the opportunity.
Yeah, we just treated it like any other week. The boys are excited, obviously. And yeah, well, I think we're just up for a challenge.
They'll have a light training at Bennett tonight. They are the Baby Bays, with 15 of the 21 under 23 years of age. While wary of West's run-off half-back, Craig says his forward line will be their strength.
Got a couple of big units down there, Cade and Bluey and Stewie, and a couple of good fast young crummers around their feet.
West, on the other hand, are regular contenders. It's their 8th consecutive final and 11th in 12 years. But Cody Patterson says they don't take it for granted.
Just waited for the game to be over last weekend, and Bays come out on top, so we focused on them this week.
And after nearly losing last year's decider, West are keen to finish it earlier.
Try run them off their feet and move the ball quicker than they do and get it down to the forwards quickly and don't give their backmen a chance to set up.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
And now here's Damien Judd with his thoughts on who will take out the Premiership.
And it's West Whyalla versus Waroona Bay, probably a team you didn't expect to hear playing in the grand final, but they easily defeated North last week and they certainly deserve their chance. They'll be full of confidence after easily beating the Magpies, but they take on a team that statistically is going to be clear favourite here. West is top of the ladder. They've beaten Waroona Bay 3 times out of 3 this year by an average winning margin of over 12 goals, so they'll certainly be favourite. It's 8 grand finals in a row for West. They're going for the 5th Premiership, perhaps 3 in a row. It's the 8th grand final in a row. They're going for 5 Premierships during that period. this could be 3 in a row for them. They're going to be clear favourites. Don't discount Maruna Bay though, but I think it's going to be the Dragons.
Welcome to Port Lincoln Footy Tips and the preliminary final, where Tasmans are taking on Marble Range at Centenary Oval at 2:40 on Saturday. To be honest, I would have thought this was the grand final, but way back in the last month, their pressure around the ball carrier has been absolutely phenomenal and have earned their spot straight into the grand final. Between these two teams, all year it's been about the goal kickers. 7 of the top 8 leading goal kickers in the association will be playing on Saturday. The last 3 times the two teams have played, Marble Range has won each of them. To be honest, I think they're going to be too strong this weekend, and I'm tipping Marble Range to win this one an absolute nail-biter. I think this could come down to under a goal, and I'm tipping Marble Range to win.
And here's what's happening in Whyalla soccer this weekend.
Firstly, congratulations to Wanderers who won the Under-17 League Championship, and also to Lions who won both the B-Grade and A-Grade League Championships. On Saturday we have Croatia at home to Lions. Tough game, I'm going to tip Lions there. On Sunday we have Westlands at home to Steel. This game could go either way, I'm going to tip a draw.
And for the very last time, we have the weather with the lovely Amy Stevenson.
Thank you, Abby, and a very happy Friday to you. A warm day around the region today, Port Augusta and Whyalla both hitting tops of 29. A big thank you to Jeff Hardiman, who captured this shot of a stunning sunset over Whyalla Steelworks iron ore loader. If you have a photo you'd like to share with us, we'd love to see it, and you can send it to localnews@sca.com.au. Checking the satellite now, and cloud crossing the southeast is leading to the odd shower, dry and clear elsewhere under a broad region of high pressure. If you're spending this weekend on the waters, westerly winds will shift southwesterly up to 35 knots, with seas reaching 2 metres. Sunrise is at 6:21. Winds will pick up across the Gulf tomorrow, 16 for Whyalla and Port Pirie, while a fine 18 is expected for Port Augusta. Fine conditions early next week in Port Lincoln. Tuesday, a high of 16 degrees. Maximums in Cleve and Woodnut will drop into the high teens after temperatures in the low 20s on Monday. A mostly sunny start next week in Whyalla, temperatures between 19 and 24 degrees. Port Augusta is also set to see some sun over the coming days, as is Kadina with a top of 17 on Tuesday. Possible showers clearing in Port Pirie leading into the late weekend for a run of mostly sunny days. Clare is also going to be seeing some fine weather, while in Broken Hill, a mostly sunny 24 is predicted for next week. So Abby, for the final time, it's back to you. It looks like a nice start to next weekend, and it has been a pleasure to bring you the weather.
Thanks, Ames. You'll definitely be missed. And that's all from the team this Friday. Have a great weekend. Good night.